In the year 2342, the world wasn't what it used to be. The great cities had crumbled, swallowed by rust and relentless nature. Humanity, or what was left of it, lived in isolated towers, metallic spires that pierced the perpetually gray sky. I live in one of them, Tower 7. My name is Neo, and I'm 17. My world is one of steel corridors, recycled air, and the endless hum of machinery that keeps us alive. Life here is routine. Wake up, nutrient paste for breakfast, school via hollow screen, bend my shift in the hydroponics bay. We grow green things under purple lights, the only real color in our world besides the endless shades of gray. The elders say the world outside, the down below, is a death sentence. Toxic air, mutated beasts, and ruins that hold nothing but ghosts. They show us the vids, terrifying creatures with glowing eyes and landscapes of twisted, dead metal. Stay inside. Stay safe. That's the first and last rule of Tower 7. But I've always been a dreamer. My grandfather, before he passed into the Great Recycle, as they call it, used to tell me stories. Not the scary ones the elders told, but stories of a world with a blue sky, a real sun, an ocean so vast you couldn't see the other side. He gave me his most treasured possession, a worn, leather-bound book filled with pictures of this old world, flowers that weren't grown in a lab, animals that didn't want to eat you, people smiling under a golden sun. He called it Earth. My favorite picture was of a bird, a blue jay, the book called it. It had a crest on its head and feathers of the most brilliant blue I could ever imagined. Grandfather said they used to fly, not in ships but on their own wings, carried by the wind. They were free. That word, free, echoed in my mind. What did it even mean to be free when your entire universe was a 100-story tower? One day, during my shift, I was recalibrating the atmospheric sensors for Bay 12. It's a tedious job, but it gives me access to the tower's outer sensor network. Out of sheer boredom, I started fiddling with the external feeds. Usually, they just show static and the occasional glimpse of the poisonous fog below. But this time, I saw something. A flicker, a tiny, fast-moving blip on the screen. It wasn't one of the scavenger drones or the patrol bots. It was organic. It was flying. My heart hammered against my ribs. I zoomed in, adjusting the filters, praying the feed wouldn't cut out. And then I saw it. It was small, darting through the thick gray mist, and it was blue. A brilliant, impossible blue. Just like the picture in my grandfather's book. A bird. It was real. This changed everything. If a bird could survive out there, the elders were lying. Maybe not about everything, but about the most important thing. That there was no hope, no life down below. For weeks, I became obsessed. I spent every spare moment hacking into the tower systems, digging deeper than I ever had before. I bypassed firewalls and security protocols, searching for any unfiltered data from the outside world. What I found was shocking. Buried deep in the archives beneath layers of encrypted propaganda were old sensor logs. Logs from 100 years ago, right after the Great Calamity. The air toxicity levels were high. Yes, but they had been steadily decreasing over the decades. According to the most recent, unredacted data, the air outside was breathable now. Not perfect, but breathable. We were living in a cage with an unlocked door. The elders were maintaining control by selling us a century-old lie. The anger I felt was cold and sharp, but it quickly turned into resolve. I wasn't just going to sit with this knowledge. I had to see for myself. I had to see the blue sky my grandfather told me about. I started planning my escape. It was insane, suicidal even. No one had ever left the tower and returned. But the image of that blue bird was burned into my mind. It was a symbol of the freedom I desperately craved. My target was the old waste disposal chute on level 3. It had been sealed for decades, deemed obsolete. But the schematic showed it led all the way down to the base of the tower. I gathered supplies in secret, a spare rebreather, nutrient packs, a multi-tool, and my grandfather's book. The hardest part was saying goodbye. I couldn't tell my parents or my friends. They would try to stop me. They would be terrified. So I left a simple note telling them not to worry and that I was going to find the sun. The night I left, the tower was silent, its rhythmic hum like the slow, breathing of a sleeping giant. I slipped down to level 3, the air thick with the smell of dust and disuse. Prying open the sealed hatch to the chute was the loudest noise I'd ever made. Every creak of metal felt like a scream. Finally, it gave way, revealing a dark, vertical tunnel dropping into blackness. This was it, no turning back. The descent was terrifying. I used a makeshift harness and a magnetic cable, lowering myself slowly into the abyss. The chute was slick with grime, and strange echoes bounced off the walls. It felt like I was being swallowed by the tower itself. After what felt like an eternity, my feet touched solid ground. I was at the bottom. An emergency airlock, rusted but intact, was the only thing between me and the outside world. With my multi-tool, I managed to override the lock. The heavy door hissed open, and for the first time in my life, I breathed air that hadn't been processed, filtered, and recycled. It was cold and damp, and it smelled of wet earth and something else, something alive. Stepping out, I was in a world of giants. The ruins of the old world were all around me, skyscrapers like skeletal fingers pointing at the gray sky. Vines and strange, glowing moss covered everything. It wasn't the dead wasteland from the vids. It was beautiful. Terrifying, yes, but beautiful. And quiet, so quiet. The only sound was the wind, a sound I'd only ever read about. It whispered through the canyons of the dead city, carrying stories I couldn't yet understand. I took my rebreather off, hesitating for a second, then took a deep breath. The air was thin and it made my lungs burn slightly, but I wasn't choking. I was breathing. I was alive. I looked up. The clouds were thick, a solid blanket of gray, no blue sky, no sun. A pang of disappointment hit me. Had I come all this way for nothing? But then I heard it, a sound I recognized instantly. A chirp. I scanned the ruins around me, my eyes darting everywhere. And then I saw it, perched on a twisted piece of rebar. The bird, the blue jay, it tilted its head, looked at me with a curious black eye, and let out another sharp, clear call. And it wasn't alone. Soon, another joined it, and then another. A small flock of them, their blue feathers like scattered sapphires against the gray backdrop. They weren't just surviving. They were thriving. I opened my grandfather's book, the pages crinkling in the damp air, and turned to the picture of the blue jay. I looked from the drawing to the living, breathing creature in front of me. Tears welled in my eyes. Grandfather was right. Life had found a way, but my journey was just beginning. As I stood there, watching the birds, a new sound reached me. It was faint at first, but growing stronger. It was music. Someone, somewhere in this dead city, was playing music. It was a melody I'd never heard, played on an instrument I couldn't name. Hope, pure and overwhelming, flooded through me. I wasn't alone. There were others out here. I closed the book, a smile spreading across my face for the first time since I'd left the tower. The world wasn't dead. It was just waiting to be rediscovered. And I was going to be the one to rediscover it. Following the sound of music, with a flock of bluebirds flying overhead, I walked deeper into the ruins, leaving Tower 7 and the world of gray behind me forever. I was no longer Neo from Tower 7. I was Neo of Earth, and I was finally free. Thanks for tuning into my story. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of Tower 7, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. Let me know in the comments what you think Neo will find next. Until next time, stay curious.